right, we have an update now to a troubleshooter investigation into Kentucky optometrists who received licenses even though they didn't pass all parts of their national exams. Our investigation found that 3 optometrists were allowed to substitute an Oklahoma exam in place of the national test. 21 optometrists have been licensed in Kentucky without passing all of their exams. Wave News troubleshooter Mark Stevens is joining us now with his latest findings.
Yeah, we said Monday we had no evidence that 3 optometrists were providing poor care. After our story ran, we got a tip about a malpractice lawsuit filed against optometrist Hannah Ellis. She's the one who failed every portion of her national exam. The lawsuit says Christopher Renner went to her in November 2023 with some blurriness in his right eye. That would have been just about 2 years after Ellis was licensed. The lawsuit says Ellis used a laser to perform a procedure on Renner's right eye. Following that procedure, Renner experienced vision loss in the eye, and a specialist Ellis referred him to found chorioretinal scarring in the eye. The lawsuit says Ellis put the wrong settings into the laser before she performed the procedure. Renner says he's now legally blind in his right eye and suffers from visual hallucinations as a result. Neither Renner's lawyer nor Ellis's responded to our phone calls, but Ellis's lawyer denied all the allegations against her in their response to the lawsuit. Now, that lawsuit was filed in October 2024. It's been working its way through the courts ever since. It's set to go to trial in December this year. Renner is supposed to complete a medical exam for the defense by tomorrow. Mark Stevens.